Welcome to Elevate English. Elevate your English. Elevate your life. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe to the Elevate English channel. Let's start our story. A map to the heart. In the quiet town of Willow Creek, nestled between the rolling hills and winding rivers, there was a small cafe called the Paper Crane. Its charm lay in its simplicity: a wooden counter, mismatched furniture, and walls adorned with local art. The scent of fresh coffee and baked goods always lingered in the air, inviting people to sit, stay, and find solace from the world outside. For many, it was a second home. For Olivia, it was her first love. Olivia had always been a wanderer at heart. She had grown up in the city, with dreams bigger than the small world she inhabited. But after a heartbreak that shattered her trust and love, she had moved to Willow Creek, hoping to escape the ghosts of her past. She found work as a barista at the Paper Crane, and over time, it became her sanctuary. The cafe was her quiet place to watch the seasons change, to learn the names of regulars, and to find solace in the rhythm of the coffee machine and the gentle hum of conversation. Her life, though peaceful, was a far cry from the adventures she once imagined. She had stopped writing letters to faraway places, stopped sending postcards from her travels, and stopped believing that there was someone out there who could make her heart race again. That is, until the day Luke walked in. He appeared like a storm, a man who didn't belong in a sleepy town like Willow Creek. Tall, rugged, with a beard that looked like it belonged in the pages of a travel magazine, Luke had the air of someone who had seen too many places to be tied down to any one of them. His eyes, a deep shade of brown, seemed to carry the weight of endless stories, and when he smiled, there was a quiet intensity about him that intrigued Olivia. He ordered a coffee, black, no sugar, and sat by the window, staring out at the world as if lost in thought. Olivia couldn't help but notice him. There was something about the way he looked at the world, like he was waiting for something to happen. Days turned into weeks, and Luke became a regular at the cafe. He always ordered the same coffee, always sat by the window, and always had a notebook with him, scribbling furiously as if the words could never come fast enough. Olivia didn't know why, but she felt drawn to him, as if there was something waiting between them, something unspoken but understood. Yet, no words were exchanged beyond the usual pleasantries. She would smile when he walked in, and he would nod, but neither of them made the first move. That is, until one rainy afternoon, when the cafe was quieter than usual, and Olivia found herself behind the counter, reading a book she hadn't picked up in months. Luke walked in, his jacket soaked, and for the first time, he didn't sit by the window. Instead, he walked up to the counter, his gaze meeting hers. "Can I get a coffee, please?" he asked, his voice low but warm. "And maybe a little company." Olivia blinked, caught off guard. "Company? If it's not too much trouble," he said, his tone hesitant but sincere. "I've been coming here for weeks, and I think I'd like to finally have a conversation. If you're not too busy, of course." Olivia smiled, her heart fluttering in a way it hadn't in years. She poured his coffee, hand slightly trembling as she placed the cup in front of him. "I think I can spare a little company," she said. They sat together at a corner table, the rain tapping softly against the windows. Luke spoke of his travels, of the places he had seen and the adventures he had lived. He had spent years moving from town to town, from one city to the next, never staying long enough to form any deep connections. He was a wanderer by nature, a man who sought stories in every corner of the world but never truly settled anywhere. Olivia listened intently, her own world opening up with each of his words. She told him of her life in Willow Creek, of how she had come to find peace in the simplicity of the town and the quiet rhythm of her days. She spoke of the heartache that had driven her here, and how she had learned to live without expecting anything more. They talked for hours, and as the rain outside began to subside, Olivia realized that she had never felt so alive, so present in a conversation. Luke had a way of drawing her in, of making her feel like her story mattered, like she was a part of something larger than herself. When he left that afternoon, he did something unexpected. He left behind his notebook, an old, leather-bound journal with a fraying strap. "You forgot this," Olivia said, standing by the door as he reached the threshold. Luke turned, a sheepish smile on his face. "Actually, I didn't. I want you to have it. I think it's time I let someone else read it." Olivia hesitated, holding the journal carefully in her hands. "But it's personal." "Everything is personal," he said with a shrug. "But I think you might find something in it that makes sense to you." And with that, he disappeared into the rain. That night, Olivia sat in her small apartment, the journal resting in her lap. She ran her fingers over the worn cover, the weight of it both heavy and comforting. With a deep breath, she opened it. The pages were filled with sketches, musings, and stories of places Luke had been. There were notes about the people he had met, the moments that had shaped him, and the way the world looked through his eyes. As she turned the pages, Olivia realized that Luke's life was a tapestry of experiences, each page a thread woven with care, each word a story told. But it was the last page that caught her attention. It was a map, roughly drawn, with faded lines marking places he had visited, places he had dreamed of going, and places he had left behind. In the center of the map was a single heart, drawn with care, and beneath it, a simple note. "Home is where the heart finds its place." Tears blurred Olivia's vision as she read the words. She could feel the weight of his heart in those simple lines, the vulnerability in the act of sharing his most private thoughts. She realized then that Luke had been searching for something more than the fleeting moments he had encountered in his travels. The next morning, she returned the journal to the cafe, placing it on the counter where Luke always Saturday. She left a note inside, her words flowing with the same honesty that Luke had shared with her. "You were right. Everything is personal. And sometimes, the place we're looking for isn't somewhere out there. It's somewhere in here." Later that day, Luke came in, his eyes scanning the cafe as he approached the counter. When he saw the journal, he smiled, a warmth spreading across his face. "I see you found it," he said softly. "I did," Olivia replied. "And I think I understand now. It's not just the places we visit that matter. It's the people we meet along the way." Luke nodded, his gaze never leaving hers. "I've been running for so long, Olivia. But I think I'm ready to stop." And just like that, something shifted. It wasn't grand or dramatic, but in that moment, the two of them knew they had found something in each other, a map that led not to distant lands or far-off places, but to the quiet understanding of a shared connection. Their hearts had found their place. In the months that followed, Luke stayed in Willow Creek. He still traveled occasionally, but now he returned to the town that had become his home. And with Olivia by his side, they built a life filled with small adventures, quiet mornings in the cafe, long walks by the river, and evenings spent with nothing but each other and the simple joy of being together. They learned that love wasn't about searching for a perfect destination. It was about finding the place where your heart felt at peace, and for Luke and Olivia, that place was in each other.